passato e presente si uniscono su questa imbarcazione.
Past and present come together on this boat, which has a classic style, but is built with the most modern technologies. This is MOONRIDE 58F.
Forse è la prima volta che vedete.
Perhaps this is the first time you see this brand, MOONRIDE. Well, if that is the case, you should know that it was founded from the experience of the Rodriguez family, who became famous in 1956 when they built the first hydrofoil in the world in riveted aluminium. Today, the shipyard is led by Leopoldo Rodriguez, who is the mind and soul of the shipyard. On the other hand, the body that's being built is the result of the expert Italian workers that over the years have learned the art of construction. Finishing and naval plant engineering. In addition to this version of the MOONRIDE 58, there is also the Express version, which is without the upper deck. The range also includes a 43-foot walk-around in versions with stern drive or outboard engines. MOONRIDE 58F is made by infusion of vacuum vinyl ester resin and neopentyl gel coat. It is 18.15 meters long and very wide, almost 5 meters. It has an empty displacement of 17.7 tons, which testifies to the weight savings achieved with the construction methods. We should enjoy ourselves in seeing a new but classic boat. Let us be captivated by the charming and ancient tradition woodwork. This is not a boat for those who want to show off, but rather for those who love seafaring culture.
I materassini sul ponte di.
The mats on the foredeck fit perfectly into a sort of gap that guarantee they do not get lifted by the wind. At the top, the manoeuvring area has all the elements completely exposed, yet it's very functional. The deckhouse is simple, linear, marked by the outline of the upper deck that projects forward on the sides and towards the stern. The side decks do not come to a stop at the start of the cockpit, but continue up to the aft manoeuvres because this is a very convenient boarding and disembarking area.
Il pozzetto è il fulcro della vita estiva a bordo. È ombreggiato.
The cockpit is the hub of the summer life on board. It is shaded, it's got many seats and many comforts. There's a huge table, lots of space to move around in, a huge fridge. And keep in mind that everything you see here can be changed because the boat is fully customizable, even in terms of style. And now here is something that those who will have to work in the engine room will be interested in. When you look at the interiors, the distinctiveness from trendy yachts is even more noticeable. Here, what is considered to be the vogue of the moment has not been followed. Willingly, they choose to respect tradition, as you can see from the many details. Instead of complex mechanisms, there are simple, manually opening windows.
Quando scegliete una barca, dovete immaginare come la.
When choosing a boat, you have to imagine that you will use it and you will want to have on board. Here, for example, there's a huge kitchen, but there is more. Take a look at this space here. It is so big that it could also be used in many different ways. The decor of the living area resembles that of luxurious sailing boats, and the same similarity can also be seen below deck. In the owner's cabin, the sloping bulkheads remind us of the front sides of the boat. The shelves have side edges to hold books or other objects. The bathroom is inside the owner's area, and there is a toilet in the shower cubicle. A central hallway divides the two guest cabins. One includes a Pullman bed. Both cabins share a bathroom. The sailor's cabin is spacious and easily accessible.
Sul MOONRIDE 58F
On the MOONRIDE 58, there are installed two Volvo Penta IPS 950 systems, two pod drives and two 725 horsepower diesel engines.
hanno disegnato la carena.
They designed the hull specifically for these systems and to navigate well. At the bow, the dihedral angle exceeds 50 degrees, and at the stern it is 13 degrees, so it's much more open, but there is a reason, and soon we'll see why that is.
Sin dai più bassi regimi si intuisce che questo è uno scafo.
Right from the lowest revs, one senses that this hull is very smooth on the water. It goes into ploughing mode at around 14 knots.
Vi do un'informazione tecnica che riguarda soprattutto.
I'll give you some technical information that mainly concerns how we are filming. Today we're filming with the camera on the tripod because here there seems to be very little vibrations. In reality, almost none.
Questo effetto è dovuto sia alla propulsione sia al tipo di.
This effect is due to both the propulsion and the type of construction. The hull is made in one with the reinforcement structures infused all together all at once.
Alla velocità di 20 nodi abbiamo un consumo di 5.
At a speed of 20 knots, we have a consumption of 5.4 litres per mile. 5.5 at this time, that's a good result.
Sto usando un po' gli interceptor perché su questa imbarcazione l'armatura.
I'm using the interceptors a bit because on this boat the owner wanted to install everything the shipyard had to offer. There is the water maker, two gyroscopic stabilization systems, the air conditioning system. So we have a lot of weight in the stern, but by lowering the interceptors a little, the trim is correct.
Siamo a 25 nodi, il consumo è aumentato.
We're at 25 knots, consumption has obviously increased, but not by much. 5.9 litres per mile. Now let's check out the effects of the hull design while veering.
Come tutti gli scafi che montano propulsione.
Like all hulls that are equipped with IPS propulsion, we expect the heeling angle to be excessive, but that's not the case. Precisely because they managed to give the hull all the necessary shape to cut through the waves with the bow very well.
Ma anche per non sbandare eccessivamente.
But also not to skid excessively, thus softening the dihedral angle in the central and aft sections.
E Volvo Penta non ha dovuto quindi limitare la.
Volvo Penta didn't need to limit the rudder angle, and the result is a very tight turning radius that any commander will appreciate.
Diamo un'occhiata alla rumorosità.
Let's take a look at the sound level. Keep in mind that this environment has no internal soundproofing. We're around 70 dBA, meaning that the acoustic comfort is excellent.
Le condizioni del mare sono favorevoli e oggi.
The sea conditions are good, and today, as always, full throttle.
...36 nodi è la velocità massima.
Top speed of the MOONRIDE 58F is 36 knots.
Con la prova di oggi abbiamo potuto assaggiare un'imbarcazione costruita e
With today's test, we are able to check out a boat built and motorized with the latest technologies, but we are also able to appreciate the nautical style of the past, which nowadays is too often forgotten by the designers of motorboats.